Hello and welcome everybody to the Xbox International Airlines. We are now getting ready for Flight 25. But before I introduce our flight crew, chat, how are you all doing? Hope you are all doing awesome and fantastic. So, everyone, please be seated and fasten your seatbelts because, as always, we get wild, crazy, and sometimes sexy. Introducing first the man with the bald head that you can see it shine. Can you hear the? Okay, let's start again. Introducing first the man with the bald head that you can see it shine from NASA's live stream on YouTube. The man who wears his Jason mask while he goes gardening, which we have proof of that. The man with the cool voices, our captain, Mr. Silent Cypher. How are you doing today, sir?
Good evening, Crazy. I'm doing good. Happy that we're halfway through the work week. So excited to get to hang out, have kind of a nice low key day after the holiday weekend. So we can just kind of kick back, talk about some gaming stuff, get into some tech specs, all that fun stuff. But yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know, yeah, let's introduce him because he's kind of nice sometimes. But yeah, introducing now the man who builds computers faster than he can put on his underwear, which is true. We have proof of that too. Because he literally built the computer in one weekend, no joke. The man who literally on Monday compared Star Citizen to Starfield, which we all know Star Citizen doesn't exist. The man who is still suffering from his Celtic loss. Our ugly stewardess, Mr. Sourblow. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? I'm doing great. I did build my computer pretty fast, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to try it out. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. It's great to be here again Wednesday, like every other Wednesday, and let's have some fun like always.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Literally, you built that computer, I think it was record time. I mean, when did you start? Friday morning, was it?
I think I started Friday, yeah.
Or was it Friday night? Because
Friday night, yeah.
Friday night, because on Saturday morning, you just all I had to do was plug it in. I was like, "What the
Yeah.
hell happened?" That was just crazy.
I had some of the parts Thursday, but Friday was when I got everything in and started building.
See, I told y'all, faster he can put on his underwear. No joke. See, we got proof of that. We got pictures, but not the underwear part, but the computer part. Okay, so now introducing the man. Oh, that was it. Last but not least, the man known to be God to his XBI panel members. The man who was trying to hug a goose, but it kept on running away. The man who now has a title for his video game known as the Untitled Louis game. The crazy one, Mr. Crazy Louis. How am I doing? Well,
How are you doing?
It's been one crazy week, guys. Seriously, I mean, wow. Too much stuff going on, but either way, I'm good. Losing weight, feeling good, and just a lot of stuff going on. So, hey, I wanted to ask all y'all, what have you been playing lately? Sour, let's start with you.
Well, what I've been playing Fall Guys. I played some Halo Infinite, and I played a little bit of Forza too the other day with some friends, which I didn't win no race, unfortunately. No.
Thanks for the invite.
It was a quick invite. I actually that day you were busy. You were pretty busy. That was I believe that was 4th of July. So I'm pretty sure you were busy that day.
Sure.
But yes, that's mainly what I play. I played something else, which I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How about you, Silent? What have you been playing lately, brother?
Well, you know what? I've actually gotten to play some games again, finally. God, I feel like it's been a minute. I've been playing around with Slay the Spire again, which, no surprise at this point. But I have also been playing some Fall Guys. I've been playing a bunch of that with my son as well. It's a fun game,
Yeah,
man.
it's fun.
It's like it's kind of a bummer when you're first trying to learn it, because there's so much going on. But once you get an idea of like what the goal is, what you're doing, all that stuff, when you pay attention, like it's very similar to like the old party games of the day, right? Like Fusion Frenzy is a prime example. It matches up so much in the fact that like if you don't pay attention to that description of what minigame you're playing, you are boned. You are SOL. But if you pay attention and like once the overwhelming part kind of fades away after 1 or 2 rounds, it's great. But besides that, I have started into Arcadeageddon, which is a really cool game by Ilphonic. I posted it on Twitter earlier this week. It's a cool one. I got a buddy that works there, so take that as you will. I've obviously got a little bit of favor on that side of things, but I think it's kind of cool. And based on what I've played so far, it seems very much like it's going to be kind of, I don't know, Sunset Overdrive meets like Saints Row meets Crackdown in some of the style.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I'm very excited about that, but I'll talk about that later. Let's keep on moving, shall we?
Well, me, I'll be honest with you. I was actually really happy that I finally sat down and started to play again because it's been a long time since I sat down and just played games. On Sunday, I turned on my Xbox, played 2 hours of Elden Ring, killed the boss, and I mean seriously, I was just happy to just sit down and play games. It's been a long time since, again, just relax, sit down, and just play a game. Also, I play Fall Guys, and the other day, when we were talking about it, Sablo, that we were just asking for one thing that Fall Guys should do, and that is they should let people at least invite 16 or 20 people into a whole bunch, and that kind of like a what's that game called?
Private matches, yeah.
Yeah, like a private match. You can invite 20 people and just have fun with it, and just not only leave 4 people playing. That's crazy that you can only allow 4. Or at least 6 or 6 to 8. It could be cool. So that way people can have fun and enjoy the game, because it's crazy that only 4 can log into a lobby. Or you can do your own private match. Yeah. But yeah, I played a little bit of Fall Guys and finally happy that I hopped on to Elden Ring. So now it's time to check in with our passengers. Let's start from the top. Hello, Mr. Dark. How are you doing today, sir? Back from the dead. How are you, my dear brother? It's Timmy. What's up, Timmy? How are you doing, brother? Oh, we already said hi to Sarah Blow, even though it's not your hi, Sarah Blow. How are you doing?
Hi again.
Also, we keep hi again. Okay, no problem. So there's Silent Sapphire. Hello, Silent Sapphire. How are you doing? Mr. Ham Solo. What's up, buddy? I hope you're doing fantastic. And that's it. No one else? Oh, so a few people in here. So yeah. So now, I will. Wait, what did I write? So now I will. Oh man. So now I will pass it to our ugly stewardess, which also has a degree in flight coordination.
Oh my God. Yes, I will. This is something we try to evolve. And we're going to keep evolving and implementing things here and there. And this is something new. And we're going to do what we're going to call flight itinerary, where I'm going to go over briefly of, how's the show's going to go and what are some of the topics we're going to cover. For this flight, as always, we will have plenty of entertainment, and we will have some gourmet content in which we will have some appetizers. We will have a three-course meal, which will consist of three main topics. We will talk a little bit about, the Xbox Series consoles, the updates, the new features, and everything that's coming with the console. We will also talk about, we finally know what Tencent's plans are for the future, and they seem to be coming to compete. They really want to get into the industry. And we're also going to talk a little bit about, the Xbox Live Gold member that just received some bad news. Those are some of the things we're going to cover. So stay tuned in the show, and I hope you enjoy. So I would now pass it to our captain, Silent Cypher. I think you're muted.
There's the movie magic. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Sour has turned on the subscribe button sign. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Please stow your food and beverages next to your desk, under your seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Also, make sure that your seat is in the full upright position. We gently recommend that you hit that notification bell as well. We also remind you that smoking and drinking are not prohibited on this flight. However, Final Fantasy, being the best franchise ever, is strictly prohibited in conversation. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know. Please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you. Back to Sour.
Okay, well, let's bring it back with our takeoff talk, which, Captain, you really like going with your Final Fantasy take. Well, let's just move on. Okay, we're going to introduce something called the takeoff talk, and we're going to try to do this, every time we have no guests. We're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what we've been doing throughout the week, or something specifically that we're going to talk that guys want to talk about. It could be anything you've done throughout the week, any movies, games you played, any TV series you're watching, or anything that you want to talk about, maybe something you're working on, anything at all. And I will start with you, Crazy. You got 2 minutes. Tell me about, anything you want to talk about. Go ahead.
Talk about? So I can say anything I want. Like, for example, I talk about my bathroom schedule, stuff like that. No, you can. You talk? Okay. But hey, so what I've been doing lately, this weekend, what did I do? Well, yeah, like I said, I finally played some Elden Ring. Played 4 hours of it. I think on Monday I played a little bit more. I don't remember if I did play on Monday or not. I don't remember, because it's been one hectic week for me. A lot of stuff. I've been apartment shopping and a whole bunch of things. It's just been one crazy week and lots of meetings and lots of stuff. Yeah. And what I did on Saturday was finally sat down and watched The Boys I watched the whole first season. Just literally just sat on my bed on Saturday, just watched 1 through 9. I went to see my godson, which I will baptize next Sunday. This coming Sunday, not next. Is it next Sunday? Yeah, this Sunday. This coming Sunday, I'm going to baptize.
So you're gonna be the godfather?
Yes, I am. Yes, I will be the godfather. God Louis. Like I said, it's God Louis. I told you. I don't listen. But anyways, which I got to baptize this Sunday. And yeah, it's just been one crazy week for me. Boys, awesome. Watch season 1. If y'all haven't watched it, guys, go ahead and watch it. I'm probably going to sit down later on today and keep on watching Stranger Things. That's what I'm probably going to do, yeah. Or probably play a little bit, but I'll play tomorrow. So
nice.
Go for Silent.
Go ahead, Silent.
You know what? So my gaming for the last couple of days has actually kind of hit in the last day or two. I've been busy, man. Like 4th of July, we lit off a bunch of fireworks safely. I just, calm everyone down before they get up in arms. We did it safely. We made sure the grass was wet. Made sure we had water. But besides that, I played some real life. again. And I went out, and it was a long story, but it's finally coming to an end. The fact that tomorrow I will have a real killer smoker grill that I'll be able to cook all of the meats on over the next few months, years, however long. So I'm pretty excited about that. Like, I love playing video games, but one of my passions is cooking. So I'm really stoked about the fact that I get some more tools, in the arsenal to cook up some really awesome food.
For me, the best grill is George Foreman grill.
Sorry, I choked on the irony. My bad. But yeah, short and sweet. That's about all I've got. Like I mentioned earlier, I had the games, but I dipped in previously. Arcadegeddon seems good. I'll report back as I find out more.
Nice. I myself, I had kind of like a Skynet weekend, I would say, because I got a lot into robots. The first thing is I watched the second episode of Westworld Season 4, which I love that series. That's actually, I think, is my favorite TV series. I love the whole theme and, the whole story. And indeed, I love Christopher Nolan, and his brother is, one of the directors of this TV series. So it's awesome. And I also played a game that was recommended by my good friend, Mr. Joanna Dark, which is Binary Domain. Oh, that game is awesome. It's just a little brief thing. There's robots in it that they don't really know they're robots. I think they're called like hosts. No, wait. Hollow Childs, I believe they're called, and it plays a lot like Gears, but it has some cool mechanics and some cool things that I really wish they bring that game back. Actually, that game, I'm having a ton of blast. But yeah, that's basically my weekend. I will now go ahead and pass it to our friend Crazy Lou with a new segment that we have, which is our in-flight appetizers. So, Crazy Lou, take it away.
But before we start with our in-flight appetizers, it's very important that you all smash the like button. If you all are not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that bell so it can tell you when our content goes up and the show too. So please go ahead, click on it. Yeah, let's go. So now, in-flight appetizers, yummy, 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 yum, 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 consist of quick news where we will have 2 minutes for each topic, which if you get past the 2-minute mark, I will interrupt you and kick you off the show. Nah, I'm just kidding. I will interrupt you and go to the next person. So yeah, it's time to shake the hat. Let's go and shake the hat so we can start with the subjects. This hat thing.
Oh, nice. Cool. Mystery.
Fancy hat.
Nah, it costs.
So, are you gonna pull a bunny out of there?
He's gonna pull a poop bucket out of there.
Oh God.
We need to get a poop market shirt, on the merch. Here we go. Let's start with. I grabbed one. Let's see which one it is. Wait. There you go. Let's see which number it is. Why is this taking so long? Open up. This is hard for me. Which is number 6, and it is Sony files new patent for MMO processing system. Silent Cipher, let's start with you. Wait a minute, give me a second. Here it is. Silent Cipher, go. You got 2 minutes.
Yay, my favorite topic, Sony. I'm so excited. No, this sounds good for them. I mean, based on everything that we've heard recently, we know that they're focusing very heavily on the MMO side of things, the games as a service, all that stuff. So it's good. I mean, it I guess it reaffirms basically our suspicions and the rumors that have been rolling around that they are going to dive very heavily into this. I think they were mentioning previously that they have 10 games that are planned going into this type of style. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it doesn't do anything for me personally. Being a parent of kids, having to dip away from my computer, my controller, all that stuff at a scream's notice to see what's going on with the kids, it doesn't super excite me, just in the fact that like I just don't have time for games I can't pause. Personally, again, I know everyone's got their own life set up. Everyone's in a different place in their life, but if I can't pause a game, that game is dead to me. Destiny proved that very fast to me. The fact that like I could not, I could not pause, and if I came back, I was dead. That's not fun to me. So I'm glad for them. I'm glad for people interested in those. But for me, it's a pass. I'll collect the rest of my time and send it off to the next person.
All right. Sour blow.
Okay, well, Crazy, real quick, I'm gonna forgive
Yes,
you
sir.
because this
Right.
is something we are implemented like new, but
Yeah.
once you pull the paper, you pull the topic, you gotta at least explain what is the topic. Basically, this is the new patent for Sony for the
Right.
MMO processing system, which they utilize various networks, compute unit, and the cloud. And according to the patent, the computes are assigned to process gaming interacting between one or more users in the game world. When when the numbers of users surpasses a predetermined limit of a region or subregion, and additional computes are assigned to continue processing interacting in the game world. Which starting, I think this is pretty cool, and it's nice that they're trying their best to to catch up with multiplayer games, because we know that's not their strong, but at the end of the day, everyone wants some diversity here and there. Like, there's moments, even though if you like your single player games, but there's moments that you want to play with your friends, and it's great that Sony is doing this. And as we see, many of their movements they're making, they people like to say that they are the top tier company in gaming, but at the end of the day, they seem to follow a lot what Microsoft is doing, and it seems they're steps behind. And it's understandable, because Microsoft strong is live service games, multiplayer games, and that's something that Sony is trying to copy from Microsoft, but Microsoft's also going to copy things from Sony, and this is a good step. If they implement this technology and it works, maybe it's something that Microsoft could then look at, and they can come up with their own idea. So this is always great for everyone.
All right. Awesome. And
How about you, Crazy?
Oh, me? What I think about it? I'm actually really happy because I want people to understand that we all love to have competition. Competition is good because once someone does something and does it great, the other one wants to make it better. So again, I'm really happy that Sony is getting into that service type of stuff, because it's gonna come in and deliver for them more money. It's gonna come in and deliver them more stuff that they actually need, which is more funds. And they actually do make a lot of good games. So I'm really interested in seeing what are they going to show, and what is it gonna be about. It's gonna be really interesting, especially since they got Bungie on their side, which we know that Bungie does great content. I mean, you can all talk about anything about Bungie, but Bungie is awesome. I mean, right now, out there, they are alone in that Destiny MMO. Nobody competes with them right now. They're doing a pretty good job. So I'm actually really happy that Sony's getting into that with them, and they're gonna do fantastic with the help of Bungie. So now it's time to pull another number from my hat. Let's go. Another number from the hat. Let's shake and rattle. Shake and rattle. All right. I gotta get another hat. But okay, let's go.
Let's go. Sound like you gotta get another voice.
Number 2. Let's see what number 2 is. EA is hiring 4 new Seattle studio to work on Battlefield campaign. Since Sour Blow told me I had to announce what is it about, they are hiring to work for the campaign. So Silent Cypher, go. You got 2 minutes.
You should have mentioned who they hired, but
Sour, I'll let you dive into that since you obviously know a little bit more than that. But
Exactly.
I will say, for me personally, the single player stuff is more important for me. So I look forward to it. Like I know we go through this every couple of years when new Call of Duty comes out, when all these games come out. It's always, oh, we only need multiplayer. Oh, we don't need the single player, blah blah blah. I know that they've got the metrics to show that a lot of people don't play the single player. However, being as I am someone who does play the single player in these games, it infuriates me whenever someone says, "Hey, you're going to get half the game for the full price." I know that's not a popular opinion, but the thing is like whenever I've had a game that I didn't have the single player opportunity as well, it's not the same to me. Like I want it to be there. It doesn't matter if it's only a 4 or 5 hour thing, right? Like as long as the quality's there, I don't care. Like add a little extra backstory. Give me a reason for why I'm playing this thing in the long run or whatever. Or, like even just add a little extra story content here and there. I would say Call of Duty did a really good job with it with the war zones recently. Because every time they added something to it, they detailed the lore. They added more to the lore of what was going on in that time frame for Call of Duty, which I think is cool. And so, yeah, single player, I'm all for it. However, if we have single player for something that doesn't actually exist, like Star Citizen, I don't really care. And I'd like to defer the rest of my time.
All right. Go Sour Blow, and the person that they have hired is co-creator of the Halo series, Marcus Leto. So Sour Blow, go for it. You got 2 minutes.
yes, that's right. That's right. They hire them, and they seem to have, noticed heavily that people do want to play single player games. If you look in the last few years, one of the best games EA has put out is actually Jedi Falling Order, which people have loved. And I think it's a good realization for EA, knowing that, and look at, Battlefield 2042. If they would have delayed that game would have came out not with that much bugs, and they would have added like a single player campaign. I think that game would have done much, much better. And if you look at it, the numbers now, they are slowly, getting a little bit more attention. However, it's still pretty low, but, due to the fact that how the game came out, they really hurt themselves and they really hurt the franchise. And it's good to see that Marco Leto is stepping in. And I think this might be their last chance to really save this franchise. I think this was their big golden ticket because, Call of Duty wasn't its best. Halo got delayed. And yeah, they managed to, not nailed it. So I think they have one last chance. If they don't do a great job in the next Battlefield, I think that franchise might be in trouble. Hopefully they can bring it back because I do love Battlefield, and it's sad to see a franchise die. So I'm super excited. How about you, Crazy?
How about me? Here I go. Starting my 2 minutes now. Here's my thing with EA. Guys, for me, and I don't want to be like a mean dude or something, but whenever EA purchases a studio or does something, I get a little bit scared because EA is a company that buys studios and they push them to make good games, but then they just start pushing them too much. And like for example, remember Sarbo when we were playing the Battlefield 2042, we gave the demo a shot. playing. We saw people without flying without an airplane. Flying the Wonder Woman airplane, a bunch of stuff, and we were like, hey, they need a year to fix this. Literally, I mean, we're getting to the year and they still have not fixed it, or they have put a couple patches in, but it's still not done. But here's the thing, though. EA has that mess that they have grabbed a bunch of studios. For example, the Command and Conquer studios. They closed it down. Look at the guys who made Dead Space. I was talking about that earlier because they were talking about how Dante's Inferno sales, and I was like, this is what happened. They literally, after they made Dead Space 3, they closed down Viscera Games. That's the studios that made Dante's Inferno and what's it called, and Dead Space. So EA has that issue, and I just hope that they actually do fix the Battlefield franchise, which is big for them. It's a huge franchise and it's awesome, but they really need people to sit there and help them out because hey, they have all the best ideas. They have them right there, but if they don't get like a good head in there and say, hey, we got to stop doing this and focus on this and organize your game the way it has to be, like Battlefield 3, for example, for me, that's one of the best Battlefields I played. And like I said, if they don't sit down and organize that, then EA, you guys are not doing too good. And also, we want a Titanfall 3. Please bring it back.
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes.
So, all right. Let's go. One more subject. One
Okay,
last.
While you shake your hat real quick, I gotta say,
Go ahead. Go.
Anthem looked it pretty good in the previews. However, it was
Yeah.
horrible. Like
Anthem was the same game we always see in the fact that CG looks great until you actually see the real game.
Yeah, but here's a quick tip. I mean, those guys, they were supposedly gonna release a 1.0 or something like that to make the game way better than what it was,
never happened.
and it never happened. They left all the fans expecting and just say, "Let's pull the plug. Let's not do it." I was like, "What?" Even people who paid for that, they're waiting for that. That's crazy. I mean,
That was like the
that was
Iron
me.
Man game, but
Yeah. Like I said, that's not. We'll leave EA for another day. I got my stuff on us. So let's shake the hoodie. There you go. Shake the hoodie. All right, let's go. Let's see more. Let's see which number is this. Wait, did we go to number 7 or what happened today right now? Oh dear Lord. All right. Sorry guys, give me a second. All right, here we go. Did we go number 7? I think we did. No,
we did.
Yes, we did. No, the
Polium.
Polium one new NFT console. How did I miss that? Go for it. Sour blow, because that's on you.
oh
You got 2 minutes.
you don't know what that the Polium the one console is? That's the
for it.
new Series X and PlayStation 5 killer.
What?
It's gonna kill the competition. It's the next gen console, which is gonna do 8K ray tracing, 120 FPS. But something like that. It had some crazy specs. But the point of this was that this console is an NFT console, and supposedly it have these crazy specs, which apparently it seems to be some sort of a scam, but. But what are you guys? My question would be for you guys is, what do you guys think of an NFT console? Would that be something that that you guys were entertained, or you think that has any future in the industry? Start with you, Silent.
I'm gonna go ahead and start this off by I'm allergic that day. I am allergic that day. I'm sourly upset about the fact that this is a thing. Sorry, I kind of mixed things up. Dude, based on everything I've seen on this so far, this is so fake. Like everything about it so far, all the details that they've come out with so far, they're like, we're targeting this, we're targeting that. Like, that's great. I don't see an actual console, so I don't believe it. And neither should anyone else that's being, that's spending the money or using common sense when they purchase their consoles. I think it was Young Ye, one of the YouTube creators, actually talked about this quite a bit. He had I think it was like a 20-minute video where he talked about this thing, and he went into the details, and it's just one of those things where it's like back to back, every little bit of information that we found out about this thing, it's vaporware. Like everything about it is vaporware. And unfortunately, I can't say that not everyone is going to, have common sense with this. Like, inevitably, someone's going to be an idiot. Someone's going to buy into it. Someone's going to get conned and lose money. And it's unfortunate because you look at this thing and it's like, yeah, sure, the details sound great, but there's no hardware to back it up. And also the fact that this thing is targeting for like 2024 and 2020. Yeah, we're going to get the money for it now, and we're totally going to offer you a system in 3 or 4 years. I don't see it personally, but that's me.
Crazy looked like he's sad. Are you sad because they're bashing your console?
No, I'm not sad, but I'm just trying to understand what am I reading, so I can explain it. Literally, I read it today and I still don't understand because that was one of the questions I was gonna ask you before the show. And now I remember I was gonna ask you if it landed. What the heck is that? I mean, seriously. 4K, 8K, or
before you begin, you can actually skip me. All I'm gonna say is, if this console was actually a reality, you know who would be like pretty like excited for this console? Square Enix.
Oh dear Lord. I mean, literally, I'm trying to understand. It says that it has metaverse. Okay. It's gonna have 4K. Wait, this is what it says, guys. Hold on. I'm just gonna run it real quick because I'm still trying to understand how it works because it says you can buy with crypto coins. Seriously, me trusting my crypto coins to you? No, hell no. Sorry, dude. That side, no. Although as for those specs, they say I can tell the following: 4K, Ultra HD, Touch ID, 8K HDR, ray tracing up to 120 frames per second. So my question is, right now, when you grab a Series X with 120 frames per second TV, and you put it on 120 frames per second, trying to grab the 4K and it can't just grab it. Seriously, you think it's gonna be at 120
natively?
It can do natively, but still not a it doesn't.
No, it can't. I said it can't. It can't.
Oh, it can't.
Native
it can't.
4K 120 now.
So you're telling me this thing is gonna do that? It also has Touch ID, but my question is, where's the Touch ID at? Is it on the controller, or is it gonna scan your face? Because that's another thing. What the heck? I'm reading this again, and I'm still saying, what is this?
Just don't try to understand.
It also, I think, maybe this is farther down in the details, but it also has a fingerprint scanner to make sure that your NFT and cryptocurrency purchases are safe. Because, that's going to fix it.
That just sold me right there.
One other thing that I really that I wanted to point out, because I love the fact, the controller is like the same size as the console.
Yeah.
What about the logo? The logo is literally the GameCube logo upside down.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Is that the GameCube logo?
Yeah, turn it upside down. It's almost the same logo.
No way. Wait. Let me hold on, guys.
Yes,
let me look at that GameCube logo.
That's what I sent you this morning. That in Exiles made a post.
It's like I said.
In Exile is like
when I was talking is
Young. Crap, it is.
I think that's his name.
Yeah.
But he did like an 19 minute deep dive on this thing, and everything that he brought up, I'm just sitting there, just like constantly face palming. So I'm just like, oh my god, what are we doing? Like this is Ouya 2.0 without actual physical hardware.
I want to give a little round of applause to NXIL real quick again. They're becoming the Wendy's like Twitter account, but for Xbox. They are just roasting people. Like,
if you want a good laugh, you go watch NXIL's response to these different things.
again, I'm still trying to understand this. Okay, okay. How is it gonna work? Do you have to be online in order for it to work, or
Crazy.
because it
You're never
doesn't
gonna
have any
understand
good?
it. Okay,
Because I mean, did, didn't
just
these guys see what happened
just
to
leave it
what's
at
the
that.
stump? I was just gonna say something real quick, but didn't they read to what happened to what's it called, Google Stadia? Didn't they read about that? I mean, how? I mean,
It's
you got to read about that before you make a crypto chain, a crypto console, multi-chain.
Wait,
What's it called? We're introducing the Poland One, a multi-chain console for Web3 gaming. What the hell is Sound Blue? What is Web3?
it's
What is
fine.
Web?
It's fine. Crazy. Crazy. I'm actually
What?
getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. These appetizers are not filling me up. You got
No,
anything else for me?
no, I know. Sorry, buddy, but yeah. Still, before we jump into the next segment, what the hell? Okay, somebody in chat, if you guys can find out what Web3 is, please put it on here so I can know what Web3 is, because literally, what the hell is that? I'm still lost. But anyways, all right, time to really back in, because yep, that kind of got me lost, and let's go. And since we are now done with our appetizers, I will send it now back to our handsome captain, Silent Cipher. Take it away, my dear brother.
Thank you so much for bringing me a G&T, Crazy. I appreciate you bringing
Yeah,
that.
and that will be by NFT. That's my slogan.
Yes.
So that's my NFT,
Digital.
handsome captain. Yeah.
So, like Crazy mentioned, we are going on to the 3-course meal, our main topics. First topic that we've got is the fact that Xbox consoles are receiving a huge update. So really, really cool news. The fact that the consoles are getting some more updates, upgrades, all that stuff. AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2, or as you might know it as FSR 2.0, it's finally reaching the Xbox Series X and S consoles. And even previous gen, the Xbox One console. So the thing that's nice about this is like we have direct machine learning, which will allow performance improvements, style transfer. Like it'll allow them to actually do a lot more with the games in a shorter period of time, smaller amount of space also for the data. Jez Corden actually goes into detail on an article that he wrote up, which I'd strongly recommend going to Windows Central Gaming, sorry, to read over it, because he's going to go into the detail a little bit more than us. But they also have BC Pack texture compression technique, which hasn't been used much. There's a lot of tools that they're able to use moving forward. They'll allow us to see some of these games, whether it be the size of the game, the timing, like the length of the actual process of making the games, getting them out there and stuff could be quicker. The games are taking a lot longer because developers have to get familiarized with these new hardware systems and software technology, which is a huge jump from last gen. Last gen was a little bit closer to standardized PC, but where you're starting to talk about some of these extra features, some of the HDR, some of the ray tracing, all that stuff, it takes longer. Could this be a possibility that, like, we'll be even closer to next gen games? Could it mean that we aren't even anywhere near next gen games at this point? We're just talking about like current gen and seeing current gen at this point. You look at stuff even like God of War, Ragnarok, right? Like there's the possibility that this is the last gen game, and we haven't even actually seen a next gen version kick into play. Of which I'd argue is the same way across the Xbox and Sony right now. Is I feel like because of the pandemic, because of everything that we've run into so far, it's been a major delay on what we've seen. Like maybe we would have seen it sooner had we not been in the situation we are in right now. So, I guess the big question that I have for you guys, and we'll start with Sour on this one, but with the super resolution, with being able to, because I don't understand all of it, but from what I understand, you can do it at a lower res. You can send it to the system. You can kick it to an up res, which allows you to have lower download sizes, stuff like that, but allows the process to be faster. Um, do you I guess a question I have for you is how long do you think this will actually take to be implemented? Do you think we're going to actually really see this fully implemented this gen? Or do you think we're going to see it come next gen?
No, we're definitely going to see it this gen. This is something that, it has been already implemented in a lot of games in PC. However, I do think that, it's taking a little bit longer in console because, it's something new for console developers. And they're already dealing with so many things. Me and Crazy Lou actually did a live the other day to test, the connection and also to talk about a little bit about a subject that kind of we related a little bit and talked a lot about a lot of the things developers are going through this generation. You got completely new hardware with, a substantial upgrade. Like these are these processors are not like the Java core. These are like processors that you can compare them kind of like even with mid tiers, computers, which back then, when the console came out, those processors were usually like, they wouldn't even compete with a mid tier computer. But
Right.
now, these are pretty powerful, processors, pretty powerful GPUs, which, developers now have more leverage to, to, um, to develop. But at the same time, it's new to them. They didn't have this much, accessibility to work with. And I'm sure a lot of ideas in their head is floating right now, but they have to, these ideas in order to develop and in order to code them, it takes time. And another thing is also, if you look at all the studios, you got Epic Games, which they have the Unreal Engine. They upgraded Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. You got Playground Game and Turn 10, which upgraded their Force Attack, software. You got the Creation Engine from Bethesda, which they upgraded to Creation Engine 2. You got all these studios that they're upgrading their game engine, and it's because of all the capability this hardware have. And it takes time for them to upgrade their game engine. And then they got to talk with the developer. At the same time that they're upgrading it, they got to talk with them, what do they need? What do they need to make it easier? And then you got also all these tools that are completely new, because that's another thing. Like, for example, Fidelity Effects 2.0, that's something completely new. The AMD architecture, you can say it's fairly new compared to, previous architectures. So that's things that are new that, developers have to figure it out. And not only developers, the people that actually make these game engines, they need time to develop this and know what the developers actually need. And the pandemic hit, we got a war going on, we got so many things going on that all this has affected. But I think this generation, people are not ready for the jump that it's we're going to see a huge jump. And not only like graphically, but especially I think with AI, with machine learning and all these features, there's so many things. Like I said, I was playing a binary domain, and one of the features that game has, and that's a very old game, that's a 360 game, is that you got voice commands which you talk with the AI. You tell them cover me or charge, things like that. Those are things that now those developers would recreate that game and make like a new game. They can probably add so many commands and so many things and so many interaction that if they take their time and they know how to use these tools, they might be able to make it seem seamlessly as you're actually having interaction with these AI, with these NPCs, which will make these games like seem more immersive. Which I'm very down for this generation. Like I know what it's gonna be capable because I know what these machines are capable of.
So, so you mentioned obviously like the AI side of things, which is a big thing in the fact that we've seen certain things touted over generations. I would say, especially in like the end of 360, beginning of Xbox One, we saw a lot of like the talk about physics.
Yes.
Physics was a big one. Do you think maybe some of this computing, some of this extra power will allow them to tool around maybe with some more of like the physics based stuff as well? Um, just what additional things besides just AI do you think we're going to actually see as a benefit for this?
Oh, for sure. Even like the world creations, the world interactions, it's gonna be like so much better. And something real quick, real good, and quick that I don't remember which developer was, but they interviewed this developer. It might have been in RDX. I don't remember where it was, but they asked him about because the Series X and the Series S they have dedicated hardware for ray tracing, and he said that the cool thing about this, I think it was developers from Dirt 5. They said the cool thing about this is that this dedicated hardware could not only be implemented to ray tracing, they can actually dedicate some of that to other things like physics in the game. And that makes things even more interesting because they can play around with so many things. I myself, I'm not that much. I mean, sure, ray tracing looks nice and everything, but the fact that they can use it for other implementation and maybe they can add some ray tracing, but then if they got some extra you know hardware, some extra leeway that they can use for other things, that's actually better for us, the gamer. One more thing I wanted to say is that these games also they are so ambitious nowadays that it makes it harder for the developers, and that's why a lot of a lot of these studios are using a lot of procedural generation content. We're seeing it with Starfield, and even believe it or not, like most games use it in a way or another. Like Spider-Man, for example, actually uses for the city, and they're gonna start to use it more. A lot of these studios right now they're doing a lot of gathering information. They're creating assets to use not only for the games they're creating now, but for the game they're creating for the future. Look at Ninja Theory, for example. They're just scanning items, scanning environment, gathering sounds, effects, and all these stuff. So when they create, Hellblade 2, and when they create Project Mara, their next game, for me, it's going to come much quicker because they're going to have all these assets and all these, all these things already ready. They're going to know how to use the Unreal Engine 5 pretty good. And I think games are going to start coming much faster after these studios are more familiarized with the tools, with the hardware, and once they got all these assets that they're gathering right now.
Here's here's my thought. Here's my thoughts on this. Let's go back to the beginning of these consoles. I mean, guys, first things first. When these consoles came out, they came out with HDMI 2.1. Let's start with that. Just that basic stuff. How many TVs were out there with HDMI 2.1? I think it was one. It was the OG.
Not many. Yeah,
Not many. Yeah.
there was an LG, there was a Samsung, I believe,
Yeah,
but
I
it was
believe.
very
Yeah.
high end.
Very
Same
high
with
end. Yeah.
same with Sony is like they had the ability to do it, but you're paying a pretty hefty price to do so.
Yeah, I mean, we start with that. And I remember watching a video from Austin Evans explaining on how you can see how nice these consoles look on how they work is by switching to an HDMI 2.1, right? And so when I did that, I actually did the TV switch. I switched it and I bought it myself an LG, and I was like, you know what? Damn, he was right. It does look different. I mean, once you get a Dolby Vision in there, plus the Dolby Atmos, you got all that stuff going in there. It's freaking incredible how games just look. It's you're like, I mean, you're really amazed, and all of a sudden you see this new tech. Like it's like what Sarah Blow is saying. It's gonna take them time because these consoles came out with new tech and they still did not dominate as well the old tech. I mean, seriously, like they still didn't have that dominance and that power over the old technology because, like, for example, when you grab look at this Horizon, Forza Horizon 5, and you compare it to part 4. I mean, it's amazing, it's beautiful, there's a lot of detail. You see like the reflex from the sky or the reflex from the bridge, the reflex from the trees on the hood of the car. It's freaking crazy. I mean, you see so much cool stuff that you didn't imagine you would see. And
That was
it's
still in the old engine.
and that's still an old engine. I mean, they pushed it that far. Another example, Horizon Forbidden West. I mean, that game looks great, and it's working from that engine that's 2013. I think it is 2013 and 2014. I mean, they pretty much pushed it a lot with this new console.
Right.
And like I'm saying, they're adding these new techs, and once they got everything down, I think it's gonna be for them a lot more easier. I think games will come out a lot much more faster, like what how Sarah was saying, because it will be it will be pretty much just grab and put in. Let's put this here. Let's just jump in this, because everything has been scanned. Let's grab it and just put it right there and let's do the game right away. It won't be as hard because seriously, this new tech, this fidelity, for example, I was watching. I think it was a video from Boxenberger on him explaining on how sometimes you can sacrifice a little bit of frame rate, but for example, the resolution, how you can see clear, like for example, looking at a rock from pretty much the distance I'm like from here to you guys, you can actually see more detail on the rock and see a couple more stuff about it, which that's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing, and seriously, I'm really happy that this tech is gonna help them, and it's gonna get these guys make games faster because people just want their games fast and it takes them a long time. And an argument I had the other day, they were talking to me about that why do movies come out faster than video games? And I said, hey, to make a video games to make a video game, you gotta pretty much configure, like if you're gonna hit square to punch, you gotta map it out with the controller. If you're gonna hit
Right.
X to jump, you gotta map it out with the controller. You got a whole bunch of
You
things to
gotta
do. It's
you gotta
not
cold order that. You gotta code
exactly.
it, animate
Yeah.
it. You gotta do
Animated.
all
Yep.
these things.
But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's the difference, right? Is like it's
yeah,
it's one thing if you put
yeah,
a bunch of animation in a can for a set scenario or whatever. It's video movies in general are easier that way in the
yeah,
fact that you're able to say, okay, here's the scenario from A to B. So all we need to do is calculate and make these visual effects and stuff for this specific instance.
it's a lot
It's
easier.
completely different than when you're
Yeah.
playing a video game
Yep.
because you have from A to B, you've got 1,000 or more possible occurrences that could have
Oh,
happened in that scenario,
you
which
know,
is
you know,
also why bugs plague games so
you
much,
know, you
is
know.
because no one can guess what you're going to do when you jump into that scenario.
I'll give you an example. You know how you can compare it on movies? Let's go back in the day. For example, Child's Play. I'll give you an example right there. How many people had to like you had to have puppeteers on the back? You had one work in the eyes, one work in the mouth, one work in this. It's the same thing with the video game. Pretty much, you got to map it out like you're managing a puppet. It's
Yeah,
the same
man.
thing.
Look,
It's the
let's
same
let
thing.
When I'm playing Halo, I've got some dude that's like focusing the eyes for me,
Yeah.
and occasionally someone's like, "I am a puppet."
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
obviously like
Yeah.
I know what you're saying,
let's
Yeah.
put
and it
it
has
to
changed a bit, but there's definitely
Yeah.
there's so many points of contact
Yeah.
in a video game versus a movie.
Let's just put it
Yeah.
like this. Like, for example, if I were to make, if we were to make a Crazy Lou movie or a game, for example, and Crazy Lou had to
Okay.
do jumping jack saying XBI, for example, and
Yeah.
starting Crazy Lou, I'll just tell him Crazy Lou jumping jacks and say XBI, and he'll just do it. He's the actor; he can just do it, and
Yeah.
the worst thing that can happen is just retakes. But for gaming, you gotta make all the animations, which are a lot of different animations for him to even do. Well, first you gotta create the character, then
Yes.
you gotta animate the character, and then you gotta
Yeah.
program all that. And you gotta then put the voices, make sure that
Right.
they correlate with all the. It's so much work. Like,
Well, and
it's,
that's the benefit that a game like the Quarry has, right?
Yeah.
Or like Telltale games, right? Is
Yeah.
because you're factoring for, okay, this person is going to go point A or point
Or
B.
point B. Yeah.
And then, okay, this person went point A.
Yeah,
well,
but
now there's a point A.
even
a
those
point B,
games that
and
are
a
like
point
that,
C.
even those games, they're difficult. They're not like
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
it's-
but I would argue, like, even though they are difficult, it's
Yeah.
different. It's a much smaller version of like most scenarios, right? Like,
definitely.
if you have
Yeah.
Terry Crews coming in for Crackdown 3, and you've got him doing all the mocap for the different movements that you have for Crackdown 3, you're gonna have Terry Crews sitting there doing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Versus if you're doing like a Telltale game that's only 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, you're going to have a lot less points of contact, a lot less points of
That's
actual
another thing,
shit.
actually, right there that you mentioned.
Yeah.
For movies, you got the acting, the
Yes.
video
Yep.
editing, etc. But the game, you actually have acting in the game, so that's like a movie within the game. Like filming.
Yes, and it takes a long time. Like I know you've run into it as well, and I know
Yes.
some of our previous guests can go into it as well. But the fact that voice acting on its own is a whole different ball
Yep.
of wax as well, because you have to factor in, okay, this person has a specific setup, so their audio is going to sound like this. I have
Yep.
to adjust the audio on the back end to make sure there's not a reverb, make sure there's no tinny type of quality to the audio. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the process that, the end user, us guys, us jabronis sitting here talking about video games, don't end up ever having to deal with. It's wild.
I was
truly
gonna give you a big example. I mean, let's talk about this game that came out in 360. For me, it was a really fast-paced, tense game, but it was awesome. Vanquish. You know how much?
Don't give
work
me
they had to put
spoilers.
in-
That's the next game I'm playing after
Oh,
after
no,
Binary
no.
Domain.
Dude.
Is it?
I'm not giving you spoilers. I'm just saying fast-paced.
No, I'm
and
just
intense.
putting myself ahead
That's
of
it.
time.
No. Because seriously, if you ask me if I remember the story, I have to go back and play it because I played it back in the 360 days. I don't remember that much the story, but that game is super fast, super intense. I mean, I remember you hit a button, the guy slides with boosters, and all of a sudden you jump and you start shooting and you do. It was always fast. It was crazy fast. Can you imagine all that work they put into that game so it can be that fast? I mean, for me that was pretty much a huge advancement back in the day in the 360 era. That game is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have not played it, really, it's an awesome game. It's really entertaining. It's really fast paced. It's crazy, and like I said, imagine yourself like in God of War. You gotta do combos. You gotta do, for example, square triangle for a combo. You gotta program that for square is a light hit, and then the triangle is a strong hit, and you gotta program that into the controller. So like I was telling that person, that's why games take so long. And not only that, if the leader of the developers comes back and says, "Hey guys, I know we're 3 years into this, but Sony just gave me a bunch of money, so now we gotta put it here on the Sony side." Oh dear Lord, they gotta go back and work on it to put it on the Sony, which pretty
Now
much
they have to add Kratos as one of the
Kratos,
main characters, and
No. I'm saying they gotta put the game, like, start from the beginning and make it for the PlayStation. So that's how it is, guys. I mean, it's developing is not easy. It's a
No.
hard and complex thing, and whoever does it, you gotta respect them. It's a lot of
Yes.
work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
It's not easy.
there's always the joke, obviously, of
Um,
like, oh, this upgrade, blah blah blah. This
uh,
was just a file save as, Xbox Series X or
uh,
file save as
No.
PS5. Like, it's not that easy in most scenarios, especially as we add more of these systems in. When you have that dynamic ray tracing, when you have
oh
the
Lord.
VR, you have all these extra functions and features. It's there's and even just going back to what you were talking about, like
Yeah.
when you're playing a fighting game and
Mm-hmm.
you've got those different movements and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you have
Mm-hmm.
to factor in also, again, and I'm going a little granular with it myself, but like you think about something like Street Fighter,
Yeah.
and if you jump and you do a kick versus if you jump, wait for 2 to 3 seconds and then do a kick right
Okay.
as you're falling,
Yeah.
there's different animations, there's different things that you have to employ in the game to make it not look really choppy, really blocky, like super
Yeah.
janky. Like there's a lot of detail that goes into those
Oh,
things, those very
that
minute
you,
details.
you know when that used to happen a lot back in the day with Nintendo games. Sometimes the hit detection, like when you were hitting, sometimes
Yes. Yeah,
it
the
feels
hitboxes.
the
Yeah.
hitbox. Oh dear
Mhm.
Lord, there were so many games with that mistake, and you're like hitting them,
Yeah.
you're like, "What gotta hit him?" And you
Well,
gotta
and
get
even
super close. Oh my god.
even going back to the old Mortal Kombat games and all
Yeah.
that stuff in the past, like you look at the hit boxes, you look at all those things, and you see the fact that it just obviously as tech got better, they were able to fine
Yeah.
tune it. They were able to go into those granular
Mm-hmm,
details.
mm-hmm,
But again, that's, and I know again, it goes back to like what we were talking about previously, is
yeah.
the time frame for these games gets bigger and bigger, longer and longer as time goes on.
Yeah,
Like I
because
was convinced we were going to see Hellblade 2
uh,
at this last showcase, and here we are. And when was it that we first saw that game?
you
I
know, you
I
know,
actually
you,
I wasn't expecting it, but I was expecting other games.
you know what I'll do
Yeah.
for next week. You know what I'll do for next week, and I will bring it. I'm gonna do a list of all the first party games that come out on each side,
Yes.
and I'll talk about it real quick. I'll do that for next week. But seriously, if you see this, and I'm not joking, that's why all these companies are going for third party deals. They're trying to grab every third party deal they can
Yeah.
because it's just the time they are taking to do the
It,
games
it
is
takes a
taking a
lot
lot.
longer. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
takes a
mean,
lot
and
longer now, and it
yeah,
also you also have to factor again. Like I
yeah,
know a lot of people don't like to hear it,
yeah.
but the pandemic caused issues. There's
Yes,
there's
it
a lot
is.
of people working from home,
Yep.
which I saw it. I saw it at my work, and I won't go into it too much. But I
Yeah.
saw it at work. I saw a lot of the workforce go
Hmm.
to work from home, and some people work great at home. A lot of people have a lot of distractions at home, and
Yes.
so like you got to factor that in. Is like
Yeah.
it's
Agreed.
going to it's going to cause disturbance in the general workforce, in the general work pace, right? Like, not everyone works at the same level when they're at home. There's a bunch of people, like, I had a guy that we would call when we had questions and stuff. And as we're having the conversation, he's like, "Oh, I'm walking my dog. I'll let you know when I get home." And it's like, I'm sitting there at the location doing the job while
Uh,
he's walking his dog. Like,
yep.
things are different. And unfortunately, not everyone takes it as serious when they're suddenly working from home. That's not everyone, but unfortunately, like, this was inevitable. We were going to see delays one way or another because of everything that we're going through.
Yep.
But you have to factor that they don't have all the tools and resources that they do when they're in a local like development scenario. Like,
Um,
Sour can't go over to Crazy and
yeah.
be like, "Hey, dude, you've got a clipping issue over here on this wall when
Yeah.
you're coming
Exactly.
around the corner. And if you just tweak this real quick, if you adjust
Mm,
the box or the location for this and you set it, then it should fix it." that doesn't communicate as well when you're talking about it over the phone,
Well,
when you're
nope,
talking about it
Yep.
over text,
nope.
chat, whatever. So it's unfortunate because obviously, like, we see it and we're like, damn, the game that we thought we were going to see in 2021 is now 2023. And that's nuts. But also, like, the people behind these games are human. They can only
Yeah,
do so much.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, like I was like just what you said. I mean, for example, Sour Blow was leading development, right?
yeah.
And I just finished up a tree, and I sent it to him. He said he looks at it and he's like, Louis, you're missing in the tree. Look at this spot. You gotta fix this. I mean, this looks a little bit too pixelated. Try to make it a lot more sharper, and he sends it back. So he sends it back to me, and I have to do it. And I did it better, of course, and I sent it back to him and said, and then he calls me back and says, Louis, it still needs a little bit more work. Let me send you an example. He sends me an example, and I have to sit there and try to do it like the example. So I send
I
it back, and
tried.
he's like, it still needs a little slight more. And we had to do it again. Like you said, it's not the same like me being right here next to you, say, okay, do it like this. Go, go, go. Yes, that's it. That's how I want it. Go for it. And just implement it. And it's hard. It's hard working from home, guys. All these people on how they are doing and trying to do the best and trying to deliver. I mean, we gotta be patient. Not only that, learning the technology that's going on that just came out new. Like I said, I mean, these consoles. Seriously, I asked Brian or San Cipher earlier a question. Sour Blow, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Tell me which TVs when these consoles came out had 2.1 HDMI. How many were there?
Not ma- not
Tell me,
not not many.
tell me five.
I think it
Not
was
many.
only.
It
It
was
wasn't even
like
not even five. It was like two
not
or
even
three.
No.
five. Top. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So right now we got this whole um T. Now we're trying to get HDMI 2.1. Also with the sound because that's another thing.
Yep.
Dolby
Dolby.
Atmos
Yeah.
is actually yes, it's now going to sound bars,
Yep.
and we got Dolby Vision on TV, which is pretty amazing. And like Austin Evans said, which again, a bunch of credit to Austin Evans on this video talking about on how the new consoles look on an HDMI 2.1. He was right. I mean, you see this
Mhm.
with Adobe when you turn on Dolby Vision, you're like, whoa, this is like a whole different game. Even movies look a lot better on Dolby Vision. It's incredible. It's crazy. And yeah, I mean, I'm new tech, awesome, fantastic, and like what just Gordon was talking about the AI thing. I mean, when I heard about that, I was like, yes, we are getting a Schwarzenegger Terminator. I can't wait to have my own. No, I'm just kidding. We don't want that to happen. But hey, that's another thing that they actually need to work on. And
Crazy.
oh, wait,
You know what? I'm really happy that you started talking about new tech
yeah, yeah,
because that brings us to our next topic, of which Tencent introduced its cloud service.
yes,
The service will compete with xCloud and Game Pass. So some of the different things that they talked about in their Spark conference was the fact that they introduced 44 products and projects for the Chinese market. They
yeah,
also built in the engine, so it's the Start engine, which will introduces demo and calls Evolution, where the engine is shown. They updated 26 games, including League of Legends, Esports Manager, Return to the Empire, in collaboration with Microsoft. They also have Code to Xinjiang,
Oh,
which I'm butchering the name probably,
oh, yeah,
but
you you,
it's a game
you gotta
in
see
the
that game. That game looks amazing.
yeah.
Wuxia world. Am I reading that right?
Wuxia?
Not sure.
Developed in Unreal Engine 5. So again, we're talking new tech. Unreal Engine 5 land in here also. It's an open world game, and it utilizes photogrammetry technology in the game. Which photogrammetry, anytime we've seen that implemented in games, photogrammetry is really cool. Like Forza's played around with it. There's been a series of games they've used it, and it looks phenomenal. Honestly, like being able to take a real life visual appearance or an image and utilizing that to put it right into the game, like into the digital form. That's cool. Am I a big fan of Tencent? No, not necessarily, but I'm glad that they're at least using the tech provided behind it to get these things going.
Yeah,
Um,
you know, I was gonna jump into that because
yeah,
again,
go for it.
because we're talking about the new AI tech and all that stuff, which is really important. I was gonna say about that. I was gonna jump into it right away, like the cloud tech on how that is new and
Hmm.
how it's been implemented. And you went on to Tencent, which I'm
Yeah,
glad you did because that's a really huge subject. Because guys, we finally now know what Tencent is doing. Why they have been buying all these studios
yep,
because they wanted to make their own cloud service, right? Pretty cool, pretty fantastic, and it's a way to also compete against all these cloud companies that we got out there. We got Microsoft, we got PlayStation that's trying to implement its own cloud thing, uh, and yeah, it's gonna be a really heavy competition. It's gonna be mad crazy on how these guys are starting with this, and I really do hope they do a good job where they're starting at. Is it how many countries are doing it? I think I read something about. I just forgot the number. How many countries are there? Is Tencent going on, Sarah? Do you know or Salad? They did mention it though
Um,
Tencent has been implementing in a couple countries. I think they said not only China. They said somewhere else.
Not
What
sure.
do
I
you
do
do?
not
They got
remember what.
servers in different places, but I'm
Yeah,
not sure. I'm not sure if they're gonna go globally. I think they're only gonna start in China first, and then they're gonna start
Yeah,
expanding.
yeah, which makes
yeah,
sense for them, obviously, since they're central based there, anyways.
yeah,
I think that's, and crazy you mentioned that and you point to that, which makes a lot of sense, right? Is like we have been wondering all this time, like,
yeah.
okay, what's Tencent up to? What
Yep.
are they tooling around with? Because we've seen moves, right? Like we've seen Embracer Group do acquisitions. We've seen Tencent pull some things here and there, like kind of on the low, compared to most people. And the question was constantly like, okay, well, what are they actually doing? Well, yeah, this actually gives us kind of an idea.
Yeah.
And I would say, and I'll just throw my piece in real quick, but I would say that very much I anticipate, and I hope that this is the same scenario that we see when Sony came to market,
Yeah.
with their announcement of doing these online services like a Game Pass service and stuff. Right? Is trying to like seeing that your competitor is throwing something out there so that way you can, like when you see that Sony has something all of a sudden, as Microsoft, as Tencent, as whatever company, you're suddenly saying like, okay, well, they're coming to the floor, they're coming to the table with this, so now I have to act accordingly. Of which I know we've said it over and over again, but as customers, as consumers, we benefit in a big way, because every time that these companies go to bat and try and make their system, their service like this, it only benefits us, like as gamers and consumers. So
Yep.
I think that's good. Like, am I stoked that Tencent is growing? I mean, we'll see over time, depending on if
Yeah.
they're willing to play friendly with the existing companies, and if maybe they bring their streaming version or whatever over to those systems and stuff. Like, maybe, I don't know. But at the same time, at the end of the day, competition is good no matter what. Like,
Right. Yep.
it forces everyone else to try and level the playing field, if not excel, right? Sour, what do you think about this?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like Crazy Lou said, that we know what they're finally up to, and boy, are they up to something. They came out with their own game engine, which is called the Start Engine, which is not only being used for game development. They're planning on using it
Oh.
for films, etc., and
Oh,
other
dear Lord,
things.
that is crazy. I mean, I remember
Yeah,
that since now you're talking about it, I remember that when I saw that 2 weeks ago. Oh my God. Literally, I mean, you saw this guy working on a dinosaur on that video.
yeah. They
And he
they, they
just
have a
and
demo. You
I
guys can
mean,
look for it. It's called
it's
Evolution,
crazy. It's
and, and,
crazy. I
and it
mean,
shows, yes.
I think I could do the Untitled Louis game on that on that thing because it's so amazing on how you saw like the dinosaur, the different forms of the dinosaur and how they were developing and how they did this, they did that, and you saw like how can I say it? Pablo, you can actually, I think you know what I mean, like the different forms, like how you begin and then you just add more detail to it and just keep on putting more detail till you get it to the point where you want it to. Well, how do you call that since you're learning developing?
Well, there's
You know, because
different, the layers probably is what you mean
oh
when you're
yeah, pardon me the
putting.
layers. You know, like we saw the dinosaur all gray, then we saw a little bit more color, and they kept on adding color until they got the skin. The
Yes.
oh man, that was pretty awesome. Like the reptile skin on there, the eyes,
That
every single detail. That was
that, that
amazing. I
that's
mean,
that's another pretty
uh,
cool thing from the engine. Me
yeah,
myself, that I'm learning a little bit of game
yeah,
development. Usually, I see that developers use other software to create the assets, to create the characters, and then they
yeah.
bring it into the game engine. They were doing it all inside the game engine, and the good thing
Hmm.
about this is that it seems they're kind of taking the Microsoft approach, where you can do this in the cloud. Like, you can do this. You can sign up or download their app. I don't know how they're gonna do it exactly, and I hope it's free, just like the Microsoft is doing it, where you can actually develop without having a beefy computer, but you will have all the benefits of a beefy computer, because what you're doing is you're basically streaming, um, you know, the software. You're kind of in the cloud, and that makes it more accessible. And what that means is that more people are going to be able to create great games, with better software, etc. Another, I think, a great approach that they're taking is a Chinese company, and they're starting their service in China, which is a market that is not that well known yet to have jumped into, like, consoles. So I feel like,
Uh,
not
uh,
like when you think about Asian consoles, in population that consumes console, you usually think about Japan. People usually go about Japan, even though Chinese is a much higher population. But now that Tencent, it's kind of like taking that initiative. I think they're looking to take that initial jump there and capture the Chinese population before, because they know Microsoft is going after them, and they know
Sarah,
other companies.
Sarah, can I interrupt you real quick? You need to correct the thing about China. China is actually one of the highest video game players in the world. I
Yes, yes,
mean,
but they
not
play
not,
on
not
phone and they
no, they
play on
play on no
PC.
on
But
PC, yeah,
yeah,
on
but
PC, yeah,
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 but not
and
consoles.
and not only that, most deaths that have come are from China playing video games. I mean, I think there was this one guy who played 4 days straight.
No, no, I know that. But what I'm saying is that most
Yeah,
when we think of console market, you usually don't think about China, even though Tencent is not an actual console. But
yeah,
we do mention them in the console, kind of universe thing with all their acquisitions,
yeah.
and their showing is pretty interesting. They got their League of Legends, they got that Age of Empire kind of like spin-off game, which is for phone, but at the end of the day, they're introducing that game. They introduced many other projects, in one of them was that, what is it called again? Let me see. I'm probably gonna butcher that name too. Let me see the name of it. Jing.
Yeah.
Which that game looks amazing. Like, that game reminded me a little bit of the Wukong. I don't know if you
Oh yeah.
remember that game. Yes,
Yep.
and it looks pretty good. It looks super interesting, and that's probably their first really like big AAA game, which I'm sure, if everything goes well, they're gonna continue to invest and they're gonna continue to grow. And there's a lot of Chinese developers, just like the Wukong developer, the guy that's making Bright Memory Infinite, which I think is only one guy.
One guy.
He's
Yeah.
actually from China, and there's many games I've seen from the Asian market they're looking very, very good.
No, that's yeah. I don't know. Obviously, as time goes on, we'll see more and more come from this. I'm sure Tencent, by no means have they actually shown all their hand yet, right? Like in this game of poker, in this game of Texas Hold'em, they've only started to show their cards. Just like I feel like Microsoft, Sony, everyone has at this point. Like it's not just a quick little sprint; it's a marathon. There's a lot of years to go, especially as people are starting to put together these cloud-based systems and stuff. It's only going to get more and more intense as we go. Crazy, you had something to say?
Yeah, the Tencent is actually the largest video game company in China.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
So
it's actually the
yeah.
biggest company of them all. It's bigger than
More.
Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah, it's snuck itself into a position. Strangely, no one kept going out there and crying befoul of the fact that there was a monopoly there. But they throw a fit about other people. They throw a fit about other people doing it.
It's because they don't play Monopoly. They play other games.
Exactly.
Oh,
Dear Lord. Yeah, I
You know
totally
what?
agree with you there because I mean, even this morning, can I mention this real quick? If it's cool?
Sure.
No.
Can I mention?
Sure.
All right, cool. Even this morning, I read the news that over there in I think it was the UK, they were gonna they open up a what's it called, a case, or what's it called when they open like something? Is it a case, right? They open up a case against Microsoft to see if they are going to monopolize the games, like exclusives, that if it's gonna affect the competition, if they are going to downgrade their quality. I'm like, dude, didn't you see in 2021 they won the award of best quality games and highest rated games and this and that? I mean, where you guys at? I mean, they always try to blame the poor Microsoft, and I sit down and I say, think about the people. Forget about the monopoly. Think about the people that are working there. What they're going through. That for me, that purchase needs to go through. I don't care who buys it. It just needs to go through. Those people need to be saved and helped out. I mean, that's my opinion. So sorry I had to add that real quick, but yeah. And then you see Tencent all of a sudden says this about the cloud gaming, and if you sum it up, you can add Microsoft and PlayStation to Sony PlayStation together, and with all the studios they have, they don't even match Tencent. And Tencent is a big company, but yet they don't do Monopoly. But okay. I'm just saying.
All this talk about Monopoly
Yeah.
has me thinking about the video game Monopoly deal, which was on Games for Gold, I think, at one point. Which brings us to our next topic. It's a reach.
Can I say one last thing? Thing? Guess what's coming to Game Pass? Peppa Pig! Oh man, I'm so excited.
Yeah, no one cares about that except for Dark, and we disregard that just like Code Veronica. In an email sent to Xbox Live subscribers, Microsoft explains that 360 titles are no longer going to be supported as part of its Games with Gold service starting in October 1st, 2022. So, the statement made is that we have reached the limit of our ability to bring Xbox 360 games to the catalog. However, Games with Gold will continue to include exciting new Xbox One titles and exclusive savings each month. This will not impact any Xbox 360 games that you downloaded before October 2022. So anything that you downloaded previously, everything that you redeemed, is still going to be part of your library. So, calm down, simmer. It's going to be okay. We're going to move on with this. So, as well, the company reassures its Xbox subscribers that any of the 360 games... yes, they'll include the stipulation that players get to keep the games even if the subscription lapses. That's the big thing.
That's
right? Is a lot of people get upset about that and get nervous because obviously, in a scenario like Game Pass, when that's over, you don't have access to those titles. However, with the games with gold, anything that you've redeemed previously, you've got. So you're good. You're good there at least. So the question with this, right, is will this mean that we'll start to get maybe better games in games with gold, right? Like maybe we'll see more of the actual Xbox Series X or S games. Potentially we'll see some better things coming from this. Or potentially gold to be removed completely in the future, which, obviously there's been a lot of speculation that as Game Pass reaches a certain point, maybe games with gold is gone. Maybe that paywall to Xbox Live is gone. And then, that's a major benefit obviously for Xbox owners. The question is, how long will it take for us to get to that point? What's the actual number? What's the golden number before we get to the point where they would get rid of it? Crazy. What do you think?
I don't think they'll get rid of it, because here's the thing though, which is happening. I mean, while its competition has plus, right? While PlayStation has plus, and since it has it still there, and that thing is gonna be there for forever. I think gold won't go away. I think it was gonna be there. And not only that, a lot of people just like to have gold. They don't like to have Game Pass. So until they get adjusted, to the Game Pass thing, and I hope that they do jump from gold to Game Pass. I mean, once they do that, they'll probably do something. But I think gold will never go away, because again, some people just like to pay for the gold and just enjoy downloading their games and keeping their games, and I think they will still pay for it, or they'll still use it there, because again, if their company is gonna have it, and they're gonna keep on giving out games that they do monthly for them to have on their if you of course play the service, because they're not yours. It's from the service. They're not yours unless if you buy them, of course. But yeah, I don't think they will take it away. I don't think they will.
But crazy.
What's up?
Humor me with this for a second.
All right. I'll humor you.
Say Microsoft wanted to be aggressive, and they wanted to drop a low jab on Sony. Right. They wanted to say, "Hey, you remember that one time when you tore us a new one for having Xbox Live and how you had it for free, and then you changed your tone and you went to pay subscription as well." What if Microsoft came to the table and said, "Hey, guess what? As of now, you get to play all your games on Xbox Live for free. If you have Game Pass, obviously you have to pay for that. But for the Xbox Live subscription, the online multiplayer pay and play as it is right now is no longer existing. You get to play your games for free on multiplayer." Because there's already started to be a little bit of precedent for it, right? In the fact that they made it so free-to-play games are now playable, whether you have Xbox Live or not.
Exactly. You can also chat. You can also chat without Xbox Live. I mean,
Exactly. Which leads me to believe, especially if they're starting to dial back their games with gold project, their system, the program, all that stuff.
But
if they're starting to dial that back, like, yes, they'll lose money, but if they're benefiting on the Game Pass side of things enough, because people are seeing the value of all the new games, all the exclusive things that are coming day one, day and date, all that stuff, why not get rid of games with gold when generally the feedback for the free games it's pretty much vitriolic at this point? Is okay, yeah, we get like one good game, the rest of it's garbage for our library. So why wouldn't they?
I'll be honest with you. For me, gold is also something very important. Like, gold is something like it's pretty much like if you're paying for like an antivirus, pretty much. Gold protects you.
So you're saying it's like a stance thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I have gold above everyone else.
No.
You're saying it's a status thing for you.
No, but no. It's not that, because because I remember when I read the article when they said it today, right? or is it yesterday? I remember when I read it. They were talking about that they were just gonna quit giving out Xbox 360 games, but they were gonna start giving out Xbox One games. So I think it's gonna continue. It's gonna be out there for a while. And not only that, like I said again, for me, gold is like since it's a paid subscription, you got more protection. Remember when PlayStation One was it was free? I mean, they got hacked in when was it 2012? They got a really bad hack. I mean, I have friends of mine where they grabbed their credit card and boof, busted up buying stuff or taking money out of the credit. That was insane how bad that was. And in a way,
I
I think
one would argue that Sony's infrastructure was never at the same level that
oh yeah.
their competition had. So I don't know if I'd necessarily say that that's a fair thing to compare them against.
I
But
know,
go on.
but but in a good way. Like I said, gold is it's if people don't want to pay for Game Pass, you got gold because again, gold is $60 a year, and Game Pass is 120. If you pay for the Ultimate, it's 120. No, sorry, 160 for the Ultimate, and you got 120 for the $10 one. But the $10 one does not have gold; it just has Game Pass. It doesn't have gold.
Let me ask you this, Crazy.
Go for it.
If they remove, if they decide to remove the online paywall, like,
Oh.
do you find any purpose for paying for gold, or will you still pay for
You
gold?
know, you know, it depends on what they offer you. Because like I said, we are right now paying for Game Pass Ultimate, right? We're paying for Game Pass Ultimate because not only we got gold, we got Game Pass, we got EA, we got what was the other thing we got a whole bunch of things in there. We also once had the Disney Plus thing going on there, Paramount Plus.
So much that he's forgetting.
Yeah, exactly. You start forgetting about all the stuff that they give you for that Game Pass and all that stuff, all the subscription stuff. So yeah, um, if they get rid of that paywall, because here's the thing though, I think what they're gonna do is just gonna fuse it all and just have it all together and that's it. I think that's what they should just do, and just instead of calling it gold, just literally call it something else.
But isn't that removing it? Kind of.
No, it's removing the.
No.
Just saying.
What I'm saying, you know,
Sour. No, obviously you've got a little bit to say about this real quick too. Let's kick it over to you and see what you think.
Yeah, because that way you don't have me in a brain jam because you literally got me in a brain jam. I'm trying to figure
You
out how
locked
to
him
answer.
Well, personally, it's like Silent said. We expect, at least we expect, hopefully it's one or the other.
Yeah.
Either we get a better offer of games now that they're taking away, the Xbox 360 games, or they just remove gold or fuse it with the regular Game Pass, and just remove it. No more gold. Just add it with Game Pass, or they can even go. If you have the regular Game Pass, you don't have to pay for the online. And then if you already had gold, you can just make your gold becomes the regular Game Pass, or you just remove, the whole paywall for online at all. And, I go ahead, Crazy. I thought you were going to let me now, but go ahead.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Not even going to let him finish.
No, go ahead.
The idea got to my brain, and I was going to answer. To what you were saying, but in one point, straightforward though. I mean, for like you were saying about the gold thing. I mean, just fuse it because it's like what PlayStation did. They pretty much. I remember.
So wait a minute. Now you're taking my idea and
no.
and owning it.
He's gonna turn you into the bad guy and make it sound like a good thing.
No. Finish up, Sarah. Finish up, so I can say what to say.
So yes, those are kind of the three options. I think personally that the better option for us player and for them as a company, it's like you were gonna start to say that I was also gonna say is fuse it with the regular Game Pass, because they don't want to lose. Of course, they don't want to lose. That's a healthy income they're having right there, and they don't want to lose them. But the thing is, I don't think they just want to do it immediately, because the fact that a lot of casual gamers, believe it or not, or casual fans, they don't even know the benefits of Game Pass. And they might have heard of Game Pass, but they don't know all the good offers of Game Pass. And what they want to slowly do is they want to educate those people on what is Game Pass, what is the benefit, and they want them to willingly want to have Game Pass. That's why they don't want to force it, and they're taking their time.
Yeah.
Because if they wanted to do it, they can do it right now and just send out an email and tell everyone, hey, your gold subscription is now Game Pass, and you don't have to pay any more for online. But there's a lot of people that won't understand, and me that have worked in many customer service places, not to mention any of them, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people calling and being like, what is this? Why, I didn't ask for this. Even though they're getting more for the same amount, but people always complain. And I think that's what they're trying to do, hopefully. Hopefully that's what they're trying to do. And hopefully, we won't need that paywall anymore, or just the Xbox Game Pass. And please, Xbox Family Game Plan come soon. I hope it comes together with this, and maybe that will make it the third tier. You got the Xbox Game Pass, you got the Game Pass Ultimate, and then you got the Game Pass, I don't know, Family Ultimate Pack, or whatever you want to call it, and that's your three tiers right there.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick, crazy. Say what you were gonna say.
Because here's the thing, though. I'll give you an example. If you're trying to fuse the PC to the Xbox family part, right? Ecosystem. I mean, PC you got online free. You don't need
Yeah. You don't have that paywall for PC.
You don't have to paywall. You don't have to paywall for PC.
Which I'd argue that's even more reason to get rid of it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. But you do pay for an antivirus, though.
No,
I don't pay for antivirus. No.
If you're a fool, you buy that and you go on websites that are not trustworthy.
Exactly.
If you don't go on non-trustworthy websites and download stuff that's not right, crazy, then you don't have to worry about an antivirus usually.
And let me tell you guys this. Windows Defender is actually a pretty good. I'm content with that antivirus.
It's baked in, and it does a decent enough job, as long as you're not going on the dark web. Crazy. You don't have to worry about getting some unnecessary and unwanted content and viruses.
No. On Windows, no. I protect myself too much.
All this conversation about getting rid of things that are unnecessary now. Getting rid of antivirus, crazy, and just not going to bad websites. Getting rid of unnecessary things, going through old stuff to clear up and make a path for the new. That actually brings us up to our dessert real quick, which we're going to touch base on, of which Ed Boon was going around cleaning out some of the old stuff, and he found some interesting things in his basement. So apparently he's been doing some cleaning in his basement, and in the process, he's been posting some pictures of things that he's found. Some of these pictures have gotten fans to speculate that NetherRealm Studio not only might be working on the next Killer Instinct, but also that they might be joining Xbox Studios. Couple things I'm going to approach you guys with. And we'll start with Sour real quick. Sour, would this mean having Killer Instinct brought back to the developers of Injustice and Mortal Kombat? Do you think You think that's a possibility, and are they a good fit for Killer Instinct?
I definitely think it's a possibility because Ed Boon has always wanted to work on a Killer Instinct. And are they the right fit? I'm not really sure, to be honest, because, everyone would jump in immediately like, oh, yes, there's a great fit because they make Mortal Kombat. But if you think about it, Mortal Kombat doesn't really play like Killer Instinct. They're different. But something that has me interested and I do want to see it is that he has been willing to work on Killer Instinct and he is excited to work on Killer Instinct. So that right there is a great formula and they are a great development team. So I think they are going to do their research, and it seems he really knows a lot about Xbox. So I'm sure he knows a lot about Killer Instinct, especially that he wants to work on it. So I'm sure he's going to put on the work to make a great Killer Instinct. So at the end of the day, even though I have my small doubts because the games they develop is not really what Killer Instinct essence is, but I do think they will get to it because everything else they will hit. Graphically, I know it will look great. The artwork and everything. I know it will work. The only thing is maybe the feel of the game, and I think he will definitely nail it. So I'm good with that.
I'll throw you 2 ratchets in your little conversation right there, though. First off, maybe there's a possibility that NetherRealm has a smaller little studio or a smaller splinter team of sorts working on Killer Instinct to revive it. And the fact of do we think that Microsoft Studios could take them on? Do you think they'd be a good fit for Microsoft Studios?
Well, I know for a fact that definitely, Phil Spencer would love to have, NetherRealm Studio. And I think it definitely will be a fit with the studio. They have a great relationship. So that makes it great. Other question, what was your other question?
So the other thing is potentially a Splinter Cell group, small little offshoot group making the game on the side.
That I don't believe so because the fact that Ed Boon himself is excited and he wants to work on a Killer Instinct, I don't think he will put on a small team to work on it. I think he will definitely make his top tier team work on it. And I don't think Killer Instinct is a franchise that you will want a small team to work on it. I think you will definitely, if you want to bring it back, you definitely want it to be the best it can be.
Now, I would argue that we've seen this before in a scenario like Fallout 76, where Todd Howard came out and was like, I'm very excited to announce that we have this coming.
But that's
different.
different.
A different team was working on it.
That's different. You know why? Because even though he was excited for that, but he also wanted to build a new team, and he was building he built something from the ground up, and they didn't have enough experience in that type of game. So it was not only a new, it was a known franchise. However, it was a new type of game in that franchise, and they didn't have the experience. I think their next game, believe it or not, might be a sleeper, and I think they're gonna do a much better job because they have learned in the process. And from what I heard from a lot of Fallout fans and people I play with a lot, people that have built their computer to play the Fallout 4, etc., they told me that the Fallout 76 game has improved drastically, and it's a much better game now. So,
but Sour. So Fallout 76 was very much a new type of game for them, right?
Yes.
Much like a Killer Instinct would be a very new game style for Mortal Kombat.
It's still a fighting game. It's a fighting game. It's the same genre. But
Fallout 76 is similar to Fallout.
but
No,
it's
no, it's not.
no,
No,
no, no, no,
no,
There's
no,
a
no,
lot
no,
of
no,
there's a
no,
lot of
no,
new.
no,
no.
no, no.
It's entirely different.
No, 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 no,
There's
no,
a
no.
lot
I
of
don't know.
there's
Wait,
multiplayer.
wait,
There's it's on
wait a
it's like
second.
an MMO. It's
I'm
like
gonna
it's
Well,
huge.
I'm gonna say I'm
Huge
gonna say
difference.
something real quick. Hey, crazy. I'm gonna say
Okay.
something real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it on to crazy.
Yeah.
I would argue that if we're gonna see a Killer Instinct, it's gonna be sooner than later, right?
Yep.
Which we know that NetherRealm's already working, from what we've heard, on a new Mortal Kombat. So
Well,
unless there's a
I
splinter,
don't think they have confirmed it though. I think they have teased it a lot, but they haven't actually come out and say we're working on Mortal Kombat.
Yes, but it seems like, based on everything we've seen so far, from even Ed Boon
Yeah,
himself, it feels very much like Mortal Kombat.
But I'll tell you this
Yep.
before you keep going. They might have Mortal Kombat almost like ready, because the thing is we gotta understand that Warner Brothers were they were in the process of being merged with Discovery, and
Yes.
in that time frame they literally paused all their marketing and everything. So in that process they could have been working on it, but they just stop all their marketing and they wanted to know what was going to happen to them. So maybe that's why they just stayed silent, but they could have something. So it could be that they're practically polishing the game, the Mortal Kombat game, and maybe they're already they've started in the same time they started pre-production for that Killer Instinct game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, Sour? Only time will tell.
Yes.
But what won't take a lot of time is for us to figure out what Crazy's opinion is on this.
Yep.
So Crazy, go for it.
Yep. First things first, Mr. Salbro. First things first. Killer Instinct was the combo king. That's the one who started with the combos and all that stuff. Ultra! All that stuff was Killer Instinct. Then
I
Mortal
never said
Kombat
no.
came. Then Mortal Kombat
I don't think
came.
that's argued at all.
Exactly.
And then Mortal Kombat came in with that. But still, Killer Instinct is like if Ed Boon would have worked on the Killer Instinct, it's practically like a brand new fighting thing for him, because the fighting style of Killer Instinct is way more different than Mortal Kombat.
That's
Seriously.
what I said.
Yeah, it's way more different. So that would be probably a new thing for Ed Boon. It's gonna be a little bit harder, probably, yeah, but he'll probably get some ideas for his next Mortal Kombat. Which? The best Mortal Kombat he actually made, for me, last generation, was Mortal Kombat X, because it was actually pretty high paced, kind of like Killer Instinct. But Killer Instinct was still the combo king. Still is till today the combo king, because you can do that ultra combo, which is crazy and all that stuff. But he's getting to it, and the day he sits down and learns from it, or he does it, I think it's gonna be a pretty new fighting experience for him, and pretty good, fantastic game. That's in my opinion on the Ed Boon side, because seriously, Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat are just two very different games. It's like when you put Ed Boon to work on Street Fighter, So yeah, it's for him to do Street Fighter, it's very different. Which he tried to mimic it with Mortal Kombat 11, and Mortal Kombat 11 for me, the fight style was terrible. So yeah. Let's get back to Mr. Captain Cypher for our landing, right?
Yes.
Where is our captain though? Where is he at, though?
Captain is
think he
coming.
got, like,
I think he's
Captain.
eating all the dessert that left over.
Yeah, I think he's all chubby and fat. Hey.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, had a burrito that didn't agree with me this evening.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until Captain turns off the live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you on board next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I leave you with today's co-pilot, Crazy Louie, for outros. After you.
All right. So who should I start? Oh, what happened? Oh, okay. So, who should I start with for the outros? I'm expecting some turbulence. We're not getting some turbulence today, so I should start with my outro. Let me see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe if you want it. Let's go, Sour Blow. Tell everybody where they can find you, my brother.
You can find me almost everywhere. SourBlow18. You can find me in the Xbox consoles. You can find me YouTube, which that's a new YouTube channel. I am gonna put some content in pretty soon. That I'm cooking something, and you can find me, of course, in Twitter, SourBlow18, and every Wednesday here in Xbox International, here with our pilot Silent, with Crazy Lou, and I would like to take a brief moment, real quick, to thank the chat. The chat's always awesome. Thank you very much for being here every week and just hanging out with us, guys. Thank you very much.
How about you, Silent Cypher? Tell everybody where they can find you, brother.
All right. Well, yeah, you can catch me pretty much everywhere on social media. You can find me on Xbox Live, PlayStation, all that as Silent Cypher. Try and make it as easy as possible. Thank you, honestly, chat. Thank you so much for all the conversation and stuff that we had this evening. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys and gals and folks. But especially Sour and Crazy, thank you so much for the show. It turned out good. There was minimal turbulence. There were a couple little moments, but we were good.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you everyone for listening, continuing to listen to us. Obviously, we're tooling around with some things, and I appreciate you being on board with us and seeing where this flight takes us.
So, it's time for God Louis to say his goodbyes. Yes. Silent, don't you like my new shirt? Before
It's
I go?
cool, actually.
I do like your shirt. Do you like my shirt?
What is it?
Oh.
Third Street.
Third Street Saints from Saints Row.
All right, that is awesome.
Hell
That is
yeah.
awesome.
My shirt
Whoa.
isn't that cool, but whatever.
Nah,
It got controllers.
It
and
works.
Nah, we don't care about you, man. We don't care about you. No, I'm just messing. Sour Blow. You know I'm always
You hurt
messing.
my
I love you, bro.
feelings.
That's what I do every day. Cry because y'all make me cry. No, I'm just messing. Well, guys, where you can find the Crazy One Easy, you can find me at Twitter at Crazy Louis Gaming, where I do a lot of cool and amazing stuff.
Oh,
I've
let me stop you right there, Chris. I actually want to show something real quick to the chat because I know the chat wants this.
Ooh.
But I gotta show this to you. Chill, real quick.
Don't tell me, is it the Untitled Video Louis game?
You'll see. You'll see in a second. It's your new timeout.
Oh, it's my new timeout?
Yes. Ah, yes. That works. That works great. I'm okay with that.
Oh, so now you're gonna put me in jail?
Now you're in jail. So
Nah,
take it
I'll be
away.
honest. Sorry, brother. I love Anna. We gotta vote. Silent chat. Let's take a vote real quick before we go. Which is better, Boxing Burger's timeout or Sour's timeout? I prefer Boxing Burger. Hands up.
Because you don't want to be in prison.
Master Burger is great, but I do so enjoy Crazy Louis behind bars. I think that's pretty good.
Why do y'all gotta scream?
Sour, what do you think?
Oh, and watch when he deciphers the message that's written in the background.
Oh Lord.
Even better.
Even better. All right.
All right,
Well,
Crazy,
guys,
wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. So, you can find me at Twitter, Crazy Louis Gaming, and every single Wednesday here with my brother Silent Cypher Sour Blow at the Crazy Louis Gaming YouTube channel, Xbox International, at 7 p.m. EST and 4 p.m. PST. Yeah, baby. And also, guys, I want to thank the chat. You guys are freaking as always awesome and fantastic, and for hanging out with us every single and beautiful week. Guys, without you all, we wouldn't be here. Seriously, you guys rock. Have an awesome and beautiful Wednesday and an awesome, beautiful night. And remember. Let's go. Let's rock and let's get crazy. Yes. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the XBI Podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe on the way out. We'll see you next time.